Starting to the top right, in the red, we have our Protoss player. Starting for the Slayers team and being ahead one map already in this best of 3, it is
Slayers Puzzle.
WCS Korea, guys. We are in the round of 16 in the winner's bracket, and one of the two remaining Casper players in the winner's bracket starts on Cloud Kingdom to the bottom left. We have him in the blue, starting for Samsung Khan. It is
Samsung Khan Reality.
He reminds me of someone, but I just don't know whom. Well, we'll see him a lot more often in the future, so at some point I will definitely remember.
Well, it's just, I don't want to talk about it anymore, but I think with Clyde Burns, it could really be a good look for him. Every time I see him, I have that thought. And he looks good without them, but I'm just like, well, I just want to see.
He could be the older brother of Seal. There's a tiny resemblance, like your brother is like 5 years older. But no, it's someone else. He reminds me of someone else, but I don't know exactly of whom. I will remember.
I know what you mean.
Sometimes it's like you have this idea stuck in your head and you can't just put your finger on it, and then it drives you crazy for days. And at some point, just without, you're in a conversation, for example, and suddenly it hits you and you start screaming, and the guy on the opposite is like, "What's wrong with you? What's happening here?" That's exactly what's going to happen to me in a few days when I realize who reality reminds me of.
Yeah, that sort of thing oftentimes happens to me in the shower, and I want to tell somebody about it, but then I forget.
And then you call Karn?
I call Karn, and I'm like, Karn! Karn wakes up because he sleeps late. I'm like, Karn, why'd you sleep so late? And he's like, what are you calling me, waking me up, talking
you just
about this?
Start rambling on about something that has no context to him whatsoever.
Well, as soon as I call Karn, I first have to rant to him about how you shouldn't stay up so late at night, you should get a good amount of sleep, and then I forget what I want to tell him. He's so upset.
Yeah, I can tell.
Command Center goes on the low ground here for reality.
Exactly, this time, once again starting with the barracks here. So barracks into Command Center, standard build here on Cloud Kingdom. To the top right, we have his opponent, we have Puzzle, who is now starting with the Cybernetics core.
Interesting depot. I want to mention just briefly that he did make his depot on the wall. He made it in this main.
Yeah, the first depot in the main. Was it the first or the second?
Second
the
one.
Second right now.
So he didn't complete the wall. I just thought that was strange.
Yeah. It's actually right, you might just use it for an add-on later, but we'll find out. Right now, of course, what we are going to expect is an expansion for our Protoss player too. He didn't take the second gas just yet, therefore most likely going to be an expansion.
I think Reality's going to go for a fast third Command Center again. He's not taking any gases, it's starting to look like it, and yep, there it is.
If you think about it, the idea was not a bad one. He was just not really aware what's going on in his opponent's base, so this was a push that he never really anticipated. If he would have scouted it earlier, I think Puzzle would have faced at least 3 bunkers, but so he could kill the first one, the second one was just building. It wasn't a huge problem for Puzzle, especially with the Immortals that he had. And there's already, of course, the Nexus now for Puzzle, who also expands while the Scout gets taken out by the Marines. Bunker is being completed at the front of the Natural. Everything pretty standard here thus far.
This time it's a little bit harder for him to deny the Observer from seeing his Command Center, especially since it's at the top right, which is the first place the Observer will come into. So depending on whether Puzzle goes for a faster Robo or the faster 2 gates, things can change here. And he is going to be going for 2 gates first, which means he's not going to have that information about the Command Center for quite some time.
A double barracks follow-up now for Reality after he is getting this gas. And the LCV is able to get into the main base, but didn't spot too much. He doesn't know about the gases. I think he just spotted the gateways. That's all that's to it.
Yeah. And he's going to know the gases are there. I think Reality this time is going to probably make 2 bunkers no matter what. No matter what he sees. Because this is really, really important, especially with the faster gateways like this.
We talked a little bit earlier that Puzzle was not really aware that he had to play today and this soon, but on the other hand, if you think about it, this also means that with him playing today, if he, well, it doesn't actually matter if he wins or loses, he will know about his opponent very early, so there will be a lot of time for him to prepare for the next round and also for Reality, which is a pretty cool situation to be in.
Yeah. Kind of a fair trade-off there in some ways, I guess. This is fast pressure coming out here with all those 3 gateways, and like I said, Reality's going to make 2 bunkers no matter what. There's the second one. He will not die again. This is a much faster, very different pressure than the game we saw last game, but He saw the 3 gates and he's like, I'm not taking any chances here. Not a single one. Still a lot of Sentry energy in these for force fields.
And here come the warp-ins. Warps in additional 3 Stalkers. The army supplies now at 20 at 14, but both bunkers are ready.
And so are the SCVs. He's going to try to trap those out. And so far, so good. But he needs to target, actually, the SCVs and just pull back a little bit. There he goes.
If he kills all of those SCVs and Marines, that would actually already be enough damage. He can really use his micro here in his superior range. He needs to be a little bit more careful with the Stalkers, though. One of them is nearly dead. And Puzzle played this actually like quite well. 5 Harvesters killed so far. He could do a lot more damage here.
Yeah.
A bit of a better focus on the SCVs.
Certainly, he definitely could have done more. But now Reality pushed him back. That Marauder on the high ground is actually yelling at the Stalkers. You can't hear it because we're in space, but
still, Puzzle is ahead now in the worker count with 43 to 37. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. But of course, we have 3 mules. So Reality can more than make up for it.
Yeah, and Puzzle is now adding 4 gateways in the Twilight Council, getting Blink. I think he's going to follow this up with a big Blink attack because with this many gateways, it doesn't make sense for him to try to take a 3rd, really. And he's getting a Robo now as well, so that's going to allow him to Blink into the main.
We have 3 bunkers though, and with 3 bunkers, the natural is fairly safe, and this is a bit of a risk for Puzzle.
Yeah.
Reality with a nice scout at the natural sees the Twilight Council, and of course, well, if you see an upgrade being researched at this time, the first conclusion you're going to jump to is that you will probably face a Blink Bolt.
Yeah. It would be really strange from a research charge like this, and Reality is going to have to prepare something in his main base to spot for the Observer, because that's the most crucial part of holding this. If you can kill the Observer, that means no Blinks in the main, and that's oh so important. If you fight him only on the ground with that many bunkers, even if he has Blink, you will probably be able to wear him down eventually. If Reality for some reason decides to salvage the bunkers or move out on the map when there are Stalkers and loses his army, that can be really scary. Puzzle is putting pylons to spot for drops at the north as well, because he knows the big attack like this, he wants to use all of his warp-ins away from home.
And Puzzle doesn't get any additional harvesters. He's now completely happy with the amount of harvesters that he has. He's also going for Robotic Spay, but he definitely wants to be aggressive here. Reality is way ahead in the harvester count at this point. He has the 3 mules, and Puzzle has no intentions of getting a 3rd.
This is really aggressive. Super aggressive, in fact. And the Puzzle actually attacks his 3rd base location with this many Blink Stalkers. He's already got 14 Stalkers on the map. He's going to have to lift that. And that's kind of the beauty of this map. Really easy to lift that 3rd back into the main base for a Terran. He's not going to attack now, though. This is not what I expected. I thought he was really going to try to hit with this very specific time with his Blink Stalkers, try to harass, pick off buildings on the main, blink out, then go to the natural. But now he's allowed the 3rd base to land, and he's just kind of sitting back here for a little bit. This is allowing Reality to use that 3rd command center even more.
And the thing is, Puzzle cannot really take a 4th. If he tries to take a 4th base now, that would be way too late. Reality has so many mules, he has so many SCVs, he's so far ahead already in economy. If Puzzle allows him time, then he will get so far ahead in everything, in every aspect.
He's very scared that he adds his armory after the factory almost died. So he can make sure to have that for his 2-2 upgrades. But you're right, man. Puzzle can't just take a 3rd. If he takes a 3rd right now, that's like saying, I surrender.
He's waiting for the Colossi. He's waiting for those Colossi and then attacks. But does he have a probe over at the 3rd? I think so, actually.
Yeah, and that probe was the one that made all of the pylons spot for drops. And this is also going to spot for SCVs. He wants to make sure that Reality doesn't know that he doesn't have a 3rd Nexus. Because if he knows there's no 3rd Nexus, then he's going to expect an attack. And this is what Puzzle's trying to hide from. He's going to hit with... Oh, he's trying to hit with the Colossi out of the range, but the scan just revealed the robotic support may be being chronoed.
And immediately the Viking production has been started. That's the first thing that happened. And also, I love this, a 2nd starport. This is just, I love it because so many Terran players are reluctant to build the 2nd starport, and he has no hesitation whatsoever. He throws it down immediately. It might already be a little bit too late though.
Well, if he can buy time in the middle of the map before he actually fights, he will be okay.
Yeah, I think so, but he really has to try to buy some time. And now the starport is ready. Now he can go for 3 Vikings at a time.
Yep, and now he's doing a supply block though, and this is a problem. Starting to lose some of his units here, but there's no Zealots here.
He needs to start supply depots, he doesn't do it.
Yeah, and he finished just 1, making 3 Vikings at a time now. His 1 upgrade for armor is about to finish. This puzzle has no upgrades whatsoever.
He calls down extra supplies.
He's trying to hang on here.
Called on a few extra supplies so that he can continue his Viking production. Very important here for Reality. But this costs him, of course, energy that he could use for mules later on. But here comes the big attack. Puzzle is moving up this ramp.
The Zealots are at the back. This is a problem at the other side as well. And this is the dance of death. The Stalkers pulling it back, but a lot of damage done already with the Colossi.
Indeed, a lot of damage done, but those Colossi still safe. 5 Vikings trying to pressure them, trying to force them back. And here comes once again Puzzle with a blink here, but he is dropping in supply. 160 against 177. The worker supply in Reality's favor though, and therefore the army supply about even.
3 more Vikings about to come out here. That's going to be really useful. He's trying to do the damage as the Colossi retreat. And here come the SCVs. He knows he needs them to tank a little bit. All he has to do is hold this push.
The position here is really important. And here we go. The Guardian Shield is still active. Only one force field used thus far. The first Colossus is already dead. There are no Vikings left. A few of them are just now arriving at the fight. 136 supply against 166 in favor of Reality. Who's moving in right now with everything he has. Snipes the Colossi. No, not now. It goes down. It dies, and Puzzle is on the retreat. Reality, he pulled it off.
Yeah, nicely done. The Puzzle with such patience in that battle. He would have been crushed if he had not forced the stem several times. But now he's taken a third Nexus, which is so late it's not even funny. And +1 is going to finish for the Vikings. +2 is finishing for Reality's ground army. He can blink here a lot, but he's going to eventually, it's going to take its toll.
And he's losing a few.
Yep.
He's losing a few Stalkers. He can blink all he wants. Of course, if Reality stims right now, at some point here, there is the danger of overstimming. But, well, the third base, I don't think that Reality is going to allow him to survive here.
He's got 8 medevacs out now as well, too. So no matter how much he stims, it's going to be okay. But he's very careful about it. He's up 70 supply right now.
Puzzle is at the mercy of Reality. If Reality moves in now, with a blink, maybe you can force him back. And that's what he's trying to do, using his very mobile army here in order to force just Reality retreat. But I don't think that's really going to happen. There are just too many units. If you look at the army supply, we have 135 against 73. And yes, he blinks and tries to kill those Vikings, but does it matter? I don't think so. They're not even Colossi on the map. He's trying to rush for Storm now, but it's too late.
Way too late. Not going to be anywhere close to being done. Now he's in a position where he can attack the natural and the units that come to the third base. He wants to fight and kill the army, and he will. Feedback being used on medevacs. That's how desperate he is. He knows Storm will not finish.
The Casper player here. This kid is good. Reality ties up this series against Slayer.